Hello and welcome back to another Trader Talk in the 2020 World Cup. I'm joined again with Will Gunn. Will, how are you looking forward to this tournament?
Yeah, very excited for the start of the Super 12s. We've had a really good start to the tournament in this first week, and hoping it can carry on once the bigger sides get involved.
Most definitely, mate, and I personally can't wait. Talking about the bigger side, in my opinion, it doesn't get much bigger than England. So we'll head there for a preview against their game against Afghanistan. On the betting markets, they're quite heavy favourites. I think they're 1-9 on the fixed odds. Do you have any alternatives to that market that people might find interesting?
Yeah, so if you're not a huge fan of backing short price favourites, which a lot of people aren't, an interesting way that you might have a bet on the game might be to bet on the supremacy. So we've currently got England 45-49. And what that means is that if England bat first, it's the number of runs that they win by. Or if they bat second, it's the number of wickets they win by times 10. So that can kind of keep you interested. And if you think that England are going to absolutely smash Afghanistan, maybe bat first, score 200 plus and bowl them out for less than 100. And that could be an interesting way to exploit it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. And I think you guys are offering reduced spreads on the supremacy market at the moment, from 8 to 4 points, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, usually we'd have an 8 supremacy on that market, but throughout the whole of this tournament, both pre-match and in play, we'll be offering 4 spreads on that. So it's a really good time to get involved if it's not a market that you would normally look to bet on.
Yeah, I agree. There's no better time to give that one a try. Moving on then, obviously there's been a lot of chat in the last week or so about squad news and kind of the batting lineup, etc. But one of the biggest stories is the loss of Topley. How big a blow do you think that is?
I think it's a huge blow to England. On the back of that news, England have actually shortened in the outright, which I'm not quite sure about because I think Topley's been such a key bowler for them over the last, basically since he's come back from the injury he had previously. And I do think that it'll leave a big hole in the bowling attack.
Yeah, I'm certainly not disagreeing with you, but I don't think you can deny that England have pretty decent replacements there, and they have a plethora of talent really that they can rely on. Looking back at the betting markets, I quite like David Willey there at 9-2 for England top wicket taker. I guess he'll likely get a chance in Topley's absence, but who would you be looking to side with in that market?
Yeah, so I think that Willey's an interesting one. It might make sense for him to be a bit of a like-for-like replacement for him to come and bowl early on in the power play and try and use that swinging ball early on. But actually, I don't think that Willey will play. I think it'll be Sam Curran, which kind of is now pretty much guaranteed to play. And I think he's shown in the warm-up games that he can take wickets at big moments. He can bowl in the power play, he can bowl in the middle, he can bowl at the death. So he's a very versatile bowler. And I think he's probably the one to look out for and the one that can profit most from Topley's absence.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks very much. It'll be interesting to see then what decision is made and who gets the call up. We've discussed all of the bowling options, so let's quickly have a chat about the batting side of things. It's kind of impossible to mention England's batting lineup and not go directly to Jos Buttler, but he's top of the market for the top run scorer in this game. Again, I don't think there's too much more we can say to kind of prove that that's the correct decision. But someone who I like a little bit further down the market is Malan at 4-1. I think that he's proven quite a lot recently that, you know, if there are a few errors at the start and a few early wickets, he can come in, sturdy the ship and score all of the runs to still prove that England can win matches. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Malan is in fantastic form. He's obviously, everyone knows that he was the number 1 ranked T20 batsman in the world for a while. Then he kind of had a bit of a slump, but he seems to be back to his best now. And I think, to be fair, in a game where England are big favourites, I would be looking towards the top 3, and maybe Malan is a smidge of value at 4-1.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I mean, I've mentioned millions of times how frightening I think their batting lineup is. And I think no matter what happens on Saturday, there's bound to be runs for England, and I just can't wait.
Yeah, if England bat first, it could be really interesting. It could be 200 plus possibly. If the likes of Jos and maybe Stokes, in the last warm up game, he got a very quick 30 odd off not many balls. So all the batsmen have been in form at different times. So yeah, the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah, mate, I completely agree. And you mentioned there they can hit scary strike rates. So those runs can just go up and up and up. And yeah, as I've said previously, I just can't wait. But enough sort of superlatives for England. What do you make of Afghanistan then? Can they cause an upset?
Yeah, I mean, they've got some players that can do well. Rashid Khan is a fantastic player. But I think he's probably just going to have a little bit too much to do on his own. The way that they can do well in this game, I think, is if Faruqi, their opening bowler, does well for them up top. He's blown away a few of the lesser sides since he's kind of burst onto the scene. And if he can do that against England and get them 3 or maybe 4 wickets down early on, that's Afghanistan's best chance in the game, really. And then that gives Rashid a chance to try and really attack in the middle overs. But if England get through that power play unscathed, then I think the writing's on the wall, really, for Afghanistan.
Yeah, I think so too, mate. It's going to have to be a very big performance from Afghanistan to upset England, I think. But, I'm certainly not writing it off. Stranger things have definitely happened. Okay, then. Well, the tournament's just right around the corner. And I know previously you were siding with South Africa as your pick for the tournament. Since our last chat, England have gone favourites, as you mentioned earlier. I mean, I think there's quite a clear reason for that, and I can't see anything other than an England win here. But what are you going to say to kind of dissuade me from that?
No, I still at the prices. I still like South Africa. I think the fact that England and Australia prices have come closer together. The last time we spoke, Australia were fairly decent favourites over England, but the fact that they're now quite close together, I think, does make a lot of sense. And yeah, the matchup between the two of them in the group should be really interesting. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what happens.
Me too, mate. It's just going to be a very interesting tournament, and let's hope it's just absolutely jam-packed full of excitement. So at that point, again, Will, thanks very much for your time. And viewers at home, I must remind you, if you're spread betting or fixed odds betting with us, then please do so responsibly. And as always, enjoy the tournament, and I'll speak to you soon, Will.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.